Congress finished work on a $1.5 trillion spending bill that contains the largest defense budget in U.S. history. The Senate passed the package on Thursday night, sending it to President Biden's desk. The $782 billion allotted to the Pentagon is a 5.6% increase over last year's defense budget, and it's more than what the White House even requested. At the same time, Democrats secured a 6.7% increase in non-defense discretionary spending, but those levels are still well below the Pentagon spending levels. Critically left out of this bill was about $15 billion in pandemic funds to continue mitigating COVID-19 spread and also prepare for possible mutations in future pandemics. Another 1,200 people died of COVID yesterday. That funding was stripped out of the bill. What wasn't stripped out, though, was nearly $14 billion in military and economic assistance to Ukraine to aid the country as it deals with the disastrous invasion by the Russian military. That number is also higher than what was requested by the Biden administration. Also tucked into the legislation is a provision instructing the architect of the Capitol to erect a memorial to honor law enforcement officers that responded to the January 6th riot. Strange move, considering the riot got very bad very quickly, precisely because of a lack of response ahead of time by law enforcement. But cop worshippers are gonna cop worship. In the Senate, the only opposition to the bill was from more than 30 Republicans who were upset about the increased non-defense spending. All Democrats and Bernie Sanders supported it. In the House, there were progressives who voted against the package. 15 of them rejected it, including members of the Squad, Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, and Jamal Bowman. Bush and Omar also voted against a separate measure banning Russian energy imports. Omar explained her vote, saying she was concerned about the economic effects of the bill on Russian citizens. Also, there was no sunset provision to end the embargo or conditions laid out to reverse it. Omar pointed to sanctions that Congress put on the Soviet Union in 1974 that weren't lifted until 2012, long after the nation's collapse. Meanwhile, fighting continues in Ukraine as peace talks in Turkey failed to yield any breakthroughs. Proposals to negotiate a temporary ceasefire and humanitarian corridors to allow civilians to flee the war were not agreed to, according to the Ukrainian foreign minister, who noted that the Russian delegation was not authorized to make any commitments. Even though both sides have already paid a heavy toll in this war, there doesn't seem to be much incentive on either side to end it. The Russians are slowly making advances, and Ukraine continues to receive billions in military and economic assistance from the West. Kyiv is also set to receive U.S. military equipment from police. As Vice News reports, cops have so much extra war gear here in the U.S., just laying around, that they're sending shipments of it to help Ukrainians fight. Most of the supplies are ballistic vests and tactical helmets. For the last 25 years, the Pentagon has transferred to local police billions of dollars in military equipment, including guns, vehicles, planes, and surveillance tools. More than 8,000 agencies have received the transfers. A lot of the shipments to Ukraine are being routed through third-party defense contractors that have signed lucrative contracts with the Ukrainian government to provide weapons and equipment. The Ukrainian defense budget in 2020 was just $6 billion, which is just over half what the NYPD spends every year. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog, plus tons of other great movies and original TV shows.